Hello, this is Steve Malone with Compass FX. Hope you're doing well today and you're getting some good trades. During these dog days of summer where there's low volume in the marketplace and we get these volatility spikes, oftentimes folks ask me, what do you look for during these dog days of summer and these unexpected moves in the market? One of the most consistent things that I look for is when the market is in a very tight range. And oftentimes what I recommend folks to use is the average daily range calculator and put it to a 5-day setting. In a 5-day setting, you will have a situation where the market has looked over the last 5 days and averages the cyclical high and low of the currency pairs that moves in the marketplace. Then what you do is you look for very tight ranges where the market is moving about 25, maybe 30% of that range. There's still a possibility even if it's moving about 50% of that range. I'll show you that here in a moment. Using the average daily range calculator, it already identifies potential targets for you. This is the ADR high target and the ADR low target. And taking a look at the Euro CAD today, you can see that we're in a very tight range. And that leads me to my second point. Look at some of the exotic pairs. A lot of emphasis is being placed on the euro because of the Eurozone's sovereign debt crisis. Emphasis being placed on the pound because of the BOE and what will the BOE, the Bank of England, will be doing forthcoming as the UK economy continues to slide. Also, there's been focus of attention on the dollar and our political situation going on right now, as well as our own debt issues. So sometimes when you get away from the majors and start looking at some of the exotic pairs, sometimes you'll find these big moves. But more than not, look for a very tight range, and using the average daily range calculator, that'll help you out. And like in this case with the Euro CAD, we see that over the last 5 days it has an average daily range of 84 pips. Well, if I can see here that during the Asian session from low to high we were only at about 29 pips or so. And therefore, once we get the break, the market starts making a move. We definitely reach our ADR high target right there, and then the market continue moving. Let me give you an example of a couple of more. The Euro Aussie also made a pretty strong move today, again having a 5-day average daily range of 80 pips. And you can see through the Asian session here that it too just was very tight range of only about 26, 27 pips. About 25% of the average daily range right there, the potential to get in on a trade as we get a nice little break. Obviously, watching the Traders Dynamic Index and looking for what I refer to as the TDI squeeze, it's when the market squeezes down and then we have low volatility here in the marketplace and we're ready for the market to make a move. And when we get this trending move seen in both price and in the Traders Dynamic Index, the sentiment of the Traders Dynamic Index, when both are aligned, you have a favorable trade, or a more favorable trade than if they're moving apart from one another. Take a look at the Swiss yen. Here's another example that it doesn't have to be that tight. In this case, over the last 5 days, we've had an average daily range of 86 pips. From the Asian session low to high, we're sitting at about 35 pips. So it's a little less than half the average daily range, but still a nice push due to the fact that we saw movement in the Swiss and in the yen pairs. To give an example of a setup right now to look for, during the time of this video, you can see that we have an average daily range of 71 pips on the CAD yen. Now the CAD yen today has been in a pretty tight range. The low today to the high over here has been about 30 pips. So it's been in a pretty tight range here, and we haven't broken out one way or the other. So if you're catching this video fairly early, you might be able to catch this move. Now going into tomorrow, these average daily range targets will change. We'll have a change in the ADR high and ADR low. If you go a whole day without reaching one of the targets or either one of the targets, then look for the next day to get a good strong trend. If you go 2 days without reaching the ADR low or the ADR high, then look for a pop in the marketplace. So wrapping this up, let me put it in a nutshell. 2 things you want to look for. Look for those currency pairs that are in tight ranges, about 25% or so of their average daily range, even if they were at 50% of their average daily range, but in a tight range. And also check out some of the exotic pairs, because the focus of attention right now is news driven based upon U.S. news and the Eurozone news, along with Bank of England's news and how that affects the British pound. Another potential trade to look for right now as I watch this is we can see that we've had a decent little move in the pound Swiss, moving up to a high, giving us kind of a head and shoulders type move, and coming back down to a base and going into a real tight range. Really, all in all, the pound Swiss hasn't made much movement. We were tight here. It started to go one way, turn and went the other way, and now we're back in that little range again. So this might be another potential setup, and you can see that today the market came down. It started up high, didn't quite reach the average daily range high target, but moved down and hit the average daily range low target. Now as we sit here in this tight little range at about 28 pips with a 5-day average daily range of 98 pips, watch during the Asian session. If it stays in this tight little range, I would suspect a breakout to reach the average daily range high or low target and try to make the average daily range level of 98 pips. So again, look for the tight, narrow range and consider some of the exotic pairs when the market is focused on some of the majors. Well, folks, it's Dean Malone with Compass FX. I hope some of this information will help you in your trading. Y'all make it a great day. Get some good trades. We'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.